Every year, Memorial Day is observed on the last Monday of May. The federal holiday honors and remembers the men and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice serving in the military. But many don't know the deeper history and how this day came to be. Well, 3 years after, the Civil War ended, on May 5th, 1868, the Grand Army of the Republic established Decoration Day as a time for the nation to decorate the graves of fallen soldiers with flowers. Now, according to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, it's believed Union General John A. Logan chose May 30th to be the date because flowers would be in bloom all over the country. Now, the first large observance was held that year at Arlington National Cemetery here in Virginia. People placed flowers on both Union and Confederate graves, reciting prayers and singing hymns. Now, in 1966, Congress and President Lyndon B. Johnson declared Waterloo, New York, the official birthplace of Memorial Day. But states like Mississippi, Georgia, Virginia, and Pennsylvania claimed to be the first to hold observances.
Well, hello, I'm your Uncle Ringo, and with me we have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Mordred Hanson. I am a member of the National Guard in my home state, and I did 8 years of active duty.
Nice. I also hear you're part of the Labor Party.
I am. I'm actually one of the head state chairs for the state of Washington, so that kind of reveals which guard I'm part of.
Nice. Well, I mean, the funny thing is you and I are both out here in Washington together.
Yeah.
It's a nice state, I can tell you, from moving from New Mexico. I'm glad I'm here and no longer there.
I've heard stories about New Mexico.
People ask me, like, well, why don't you like New Mexico? I was like, okay, look, New Mexico's great to visit. When you live there, you start to see the cracks, and you start seeing, like, the people there are not great people. My wife, who was Air Force, got stationed there, and she was stuck there for 8 years.
Oh.
I didn't realize that there was a comment that people go ahead and pass around in the military, and they call it the land of entrapment. A little spin on, yeah.
Yeah, I actually had back in high school, a teacher who had a real big thing against New Mexico, and he would say Albuquerque is the armpit of America. It's like, man's got some problems going on there.
I would tend to agree, honestly, if you ask me. I haven't been to all of America, but I've been to a few places with my military career, and I don't know. If I can go anywhere that's not New Mexico, I will take it.
That's fair. I can respect that.
Yeah.
Kansas had a lot of good things. I would say one of the longer places I was stationed, and that had a lot of positives. It's very flat, but good hunting, good fishing.
Nice.
Decently good people. I mean, my wife there, so.
Well, today is Memorial Day, and we all know what it's about. It's about remembering where you lost your keys.
Yes.
Wait, sorry, wrong thing.
oh, there's dark connotations of that
one. The great thing about being a vet and doing this with someone who's military is I can make those jokes and I don't have the other person look at me like, oh, what?
Private Jim Bob, your keys are gone, and you are the keys. Yes.
But we've got this wonderful person in power right now that thinks they're a king, and one of the things that I wanted to bring up to you, since you're still in, there's this thing that we do when we first enlist, and we do it every time that we sign a contract. I believe you know what it is I'm talking about, because we talked about it prior to this.
The old Constitution.
Yeah.
Best piece of paper ever made.
Yeah. And I have it written down here because I wanted to make sure that I had it like verbatim, but it is, I, your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to the regulations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, so help me God.
Yeah.
So.
Did that not too long ago, actually. It was redid that for Washington. Yep.
Nice. When I was in, I did it for my one and only contract. I'm surprised they didn't do it for me because I had to go ahead and extend for a year. So my contract was originally four years, and they extended me for one more, so I hit 5. And they don't do it for extensions, which is interesting that they don't do that.
I mean, I could see why.
Yeah. But I bring the oath up because our president in chief likes to think that he's a king, not a president. Some days. So you have recently sworn this oath. I think when I swore this oath was back in 2010. So it's been a minute for me. I don't recall the oath ever saying that a king could go ahead and take place of the president. Yeah. And since you've sworn this oath, if he decided to go ahead and crown himself, how would you feel about that?
Well, firstly, it's just unconstitutional. Like, one of the big reasons the military is sworn to the Constitution goes back to the beginning of our nation, when our founding fathers were concerned of tyranny and kings, and so having it be the Constitution was an important fact.
Right. Well, and you reminded me of something. There was a war we had that dealt with someone. It's hard. I know, like, New Mexico's education system is kind of rough, but maybe you can help me out. I believe it was in 1776.
Can't remember which king. I want to say one of the Georges, but
Yeah, from England, I believe.
England. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Not Scotland, but somewhere south of that.
I do find it kind of funny that it's like, I think that I should be the ruler of this country, and I mean, I don't believe I've actually like heard him talk about like putting a crown on or anything like that, but he is acting like a king every single day of his life.
I mean, I don't know if you pay attention to certain points of news, especially when the inauguration occurred. He was getting he was chirpy on Trust on the whole Truth social media.
That sounds like him.
Yeah, saying something about being a king. I was like, that's a little concerning. That feels a
That's
little
right.
undemocratic, but all right.
Didn't he post a picture of himself wearing a crown, like an AI generated thing? I feel like that's something he
definitely
did.
did it for the Pope. So I mean, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised for that.
I wish I had looked this up before we started this, because I feel like that was done. Oh yeah, that's right. He posted like a New York Times magazine article with him wearing a crown.
Oh yes.
Let's see here. Can I share this? I believe I can go ahead and yes, I can. Cool. This here should pop up.
Oh, oh my.
Oh, all these ads. Wonderful.
Oh man.
Nope, wrong one. We're going to go back. There we go. Yes. I remember this popping up. And when I saw this, I was like, "Oh boy. This is not okay." And that was back in February.
Oh, the optics
There
on that.
it is.
Yeah.
There
Yep.
it is. And I know that, good old Tiny Hands Donnie likes to think that, Americans have short memories, but not all of us have short memories.
No. I would say most have long memories, just they want instant like gratification of a lot of things, and that does become problematic.
Yeah. I'm suddenly also reminded, and I think it kind of ties into this. He recently did an interview where someone asked him, will you uphold the Constitution? And he responded with, I don't know.
But even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as
I
president?
don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said.
I'll get my lawyers on that. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
And I've heard so many Americans kind of go, yeah, that's okay. And I'm like, what?
I mean, legal counsel's good and all, but come on.
Yeah, he swore an oath. I'm not gonna give him this one, guys. But I'm gonna go ahead and move on to one of my next questions for you.
All right.
And I know that whenever I was in, this was asked to me all the time. It's asked me now whenever I meet someone new and all that sort of stuff. But I do think it's a really important question. Why did you enlist?
So I would say it was a 2 point factor for myself. Like I have family, like a family tradition going back all the way to the Revolutionary War. Like
Nice.
I'm a direct descendant of Ethan Allen, if anyone knows who that is. Uh, but it's also I grew up in California, and poor kid growing up in California. I didn't have a lot of options on the post end, and I didn't really have the discipline and motivation to go to college. So I was like, I need to do something with my life where my life will not really be in a positive in the direction I was going. I was a troubled kid, but I also had that background of family tradition to kind of go, all right, here's a solution to my life.
I feel you on that. Like I said, born and raised in New Mexico, I used the military to go ahead and get out of there.
Yeah,
Um,
I met
uh,
a lot of people from New Mexico with the same. Like, yeah, I just need to leave. It's like, all right, I get you.
and it's kind of funny, like you said, troubled background. My wife laughs at me whenever I talk about my time living in New Mexico. I wrecked 2 vehicles driving out into the mesa, and she's like, nobody I grew up with ever did that sort of thing.
That was pretty regular down my way.
But yeah, I know for me, like when I enlisted in 2010, it was I felt like I was protecting the country, changing the world, and becoming kind of a hero. I don't know. I think at this point in time, looking back at it, I did some of that, but I think the biggest thing that I got out of my military career was I found out the world is a lot bigger than New Mexico.
Yeah, that was honestly, it was like, especially growing up in California. I thought like I was in the scope of like, I'm super growing up in a really super liberal, progressive state
hmm
that like I have the full scope of everything. And I lived in a foreign country for a little bit beforehand, so I was uh, kind of like thinking I had a worldliness, and then I went to join the army, and the world was way different, more east of California. So I was like, oh wow, the world is bigger. All right.
Nice. Yeah, and I know that there are other ways to go ahead and see the world and all that, but it's like I'm glad I did what I did because I think that I don't think I would have seen the world quite the same way if I had done it some other way.
I agree with that. It's such a double-edged sword. It's such a good positive opportunity, but it has a lot of problems that go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. For anyone that's listening that's military, make sure to keep medical records. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
Oh yeah, I haven't even done my evaluations yet. Too scared for that.
Make sure whenever you get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm on my final contract, get those done though.
All right, I'll make sure. I'll make
Yeah.
sure to do that.
'Cause,
And listeners should for sure.
yeah, definitely. And so long as the VA doesn't get cut out from underneath us.
Yeah.
So why is it that you think that the military goes ahead and has us swear an oath to the Constitution?
Well, I mean, just in the basic understanding of civics, it's a check and balance of
hmm
the executive branch. I mean that's kind of where I sit with it too. Like we are a democracy, even if it is not the most democratic of democracies. We're still a representative republic, a democratic republic. So there is still those requirements for checks and balances. And I think that's why we swear to the Constitution that founded our country rather than the person that founded our country, because he's very dead at this point.
Yeah, and I feel the same way with you, honestly. It feels like it gives you like the military the checks and balances, and I think it gives the individual those checks and balances as well. I swore this, I should uphold it. Honor dictates I do certain things.
Exactly. Like law of integrity and personal courage to keep doing the right thing by the dictations of what we go through and what we train through and what we're raised through as Americans,
Yeah,
which is subjective in a lot of ways, but still has a foundational of what it means for to be an American.
right. I'm reminded of something that I remember my drill sergeants trying to beat into me. I still can't remember what it is, but leadership and the acronym that fits into.
Let's see: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Boom.
Yeah. Look at you. If this was a quiz right now, you just
Oh,
got
dude, I'm
100%.
passing the board. Let's go.
I was asked to go ahead and do that, to go ahead and get my level 3 to go ahead and leave base or something like that. I kept messing it up. I don't know where I messed it up, because I just I've had like an out of body experience, because they had me do it in front of the platoon.
Oh,
I remember just hearing my body speaking, and I'm just like, I don't recall any of that. So, whenever it comes to the oath that we go ahead and swear, how long do you think that stands for? Is it just for the contract that you have with the government for 20 years, life, forever?
and that's one of those. It really does kind of fall subjectively to the person and individual. Because if you read the Soldier's Creed, at least, I don't know what for the Sailor's Creed and the Marine's Creed and all that, but you're a soldier for life. That's the intent. You're a soldier for life. You're swearing to protect and serve in the name of the Constitution, the American people for life. This is your commitment as a soldier, and being a soldier doesn't stop.
Yeah, I remember this one. I had nightmares about this one when I got out, because of how many times I had to say it.
I don't know if you've had to deal with the NCO Creed or not. Like,
I have.
That one haunts me, and I still have to deal with it. But I love it.
Well, after we're done with this, I'm gonna have to go bug my wife with it.
There we go.
I'm an American soldier.
Gotta
See if
really
she
get the warrior's ethos like right in the middle, just to really emphasize it.
Now, the funny thing is that she's gonna probably remember her Air Force ones and like outdo me somehow, because I'll slip up and say the wrong thing.
It's like a poser.
So why should vets/military stand up with the oath against kings, in your opinion?
It's the right thing to do.
I like that answer.
It's the objectively right thing to do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. It's how we were trained. It's how we were raised. Once again, it's an institution to ourselves that is the right thing to do.
Kind of like a guiding light.
Yeah.
Direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's a creed. It's a code of self.
Yeah. And I think that's actually pretty effective way to go ahead and put it, because it does kind of give you that direction, especially one of my cats did something behind me. I don't know what. It kind of gives you a direction on like where we should go, and it feels like our government isn't going in the direction that the oath kind of asks us to go.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what does the oath end up meaning to you? Like, do you think about it at all?
Pretty constantly. It's actually one of the driving points of where I'm actually looking into going into public office in this next election cycle, at least attempting to. I know with Washington state law and how their voting process is, be kind of cool to see in the voting ballot, you see the Democrat and the Labor Party representative, because it's only
That'd be
two
nice.
and the November election. So that'd be pretty neat, just to knock out the Republican in general. But yeah, no, it's that it means to me I need to keep serving. Like, I don't put up my either metaphorical gun until it's all done, or my literal gun. Oh, Odin forbid. Like,
I can agree with you on that one. And honestly, hearing you talk about like running for office, especially because Jim Walsh.
yes, yes.
Oh,
I believe
God.
he's on your side, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
When I get notifications from him going like, oh yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put in like more prisons, or we're gonna go ahead and do some, what the heck was it? I remember sharing with you in one of the Labor Party's meetings something that he was doing, and I was like, ugh, I really hope that he doesn't.
I don't think he got past whatever he was trying to do. I think that got stopped.
Good. It's so hard to keep track of some of this sort of stuff, because it's like trying to keep track of like the stuff here that's at home, while also trying to keep track of like our overarching government while they're Passing the big beautiful bill.
Oh God, yeah. Come on, Senate. You got this, Senate.
Actually, while we're talking about that, something that gives me a little bit of hope and solace is, and it's going to sound not hopeful or solacey. The Senate's probably going to go ahead and kick it back because they're probably going to be like, "Hey, rewrite this. This doesn't like benefit us quite as much as we want it to."
Oh, that's a
And
start.
yeah, I mean, Mike Johnson only got it to pass by one vote. So if it has to go back, there's a good chance that it doesn't. But I mean, time will tell, and we'll see how things go.
Yeah.
But hopefully, the big beautiful bill,
The big beautiful bill.
just
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna have an army career after this one. Not joking.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to me that we are now living in a day and time where people can swear an oath and then just kind of renege on it.
Yeah, no, things used to mean things, you know. Like,
Yeah. Well, and it feels like a lot of people that we are seeing in office right now are kind of going, well, words don't really mean anything unless you want them to mean something, so we can just do with this as we please.
Yeah, and I guess going back to the question, like, what does the oath mean? It also means not only doing the right thing, but taking the right actions to follow up with the right thing.
Right?
And that's, I think, maybe there's a lot of that, like, of people say, yeah, this is the right thing, but it's the lack of action, the lack of mobilizing to support it. Like this one good example that has been a good thing, these protests have been going all over the country for months and months now. Excellent. They're peaceful, they're getting the word out, and people are mad, and they're rightfully mad because they believe in the Constitution, or at least I'm assuming they do, because usually these are very pro-democratic, and just they see it's the right thing. People are mobilizing. It's just the people that are representing us don't fight like they should be. And maybe I don't know what it requires as being a part of that level of government if they have those same oaths and swears that we do as people who actively risk our lives to defend our country. I don't know.
And I think that's one of those things that Americans need to kind of like sit with and kind of go, where do I want to go as a person? Because I know like you and I swore this oath. Our politicians swear an oath. I don't remember off the top of my head. In fact, after I'm finished with this, I'll look it up. But our politicians swear an oath. I know that they swear an oath, and I know that the president swears an oath to the Constitution. But the civilian populace doesn't swear an oath. So realistically, for anyone that listens to us talking about this right now, especially if they've never sworn the oath to the Constitution, where do you stand at this point in time? In my opinion, you've got to go ahead and make your own moral choice on this and kind of go, do I care? And if you care, then you need to take the next step in trying to progress that care to make a change of some sort.
Well, it also kind of undercuts the validation of an oath if the highest executor makes the oath swearing to the Constitution, then has been making movements that seem to undermine the Constitution, which I personally feel is a big red flag. But
right?
I mean, where's the validation of an oath if the highest executor doesn't follow it?
Right. Well, and then like I said, I needed to look up the oath that our politicians swear, and the first thing I pulled up was the Senate's oath. And it is, I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Okay,
Sounds very similar.
Very similar, yeah.
But it's one of those things where we can see here that even two men who have, not done direct, I don't know if you've done direct politics yet. No. I know that you're going to be running. I haven't. I just graduated with my English degree. That's the closest I've come to politics, which that is not close at all.
I mean, it can be political. I mean,
yeah,
right place in the right campus.
With the right application, I am there.
Yeah,
I haven't done that yet. I am aiming to with the party. I'm gonna do something with it because I got the degree. I might as well use it.
Do something with the money you use. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where like I'm just kind of sitting here watching this sort of stuff go on, and I'm like, I swore an oath. You've sworn an oath. There are like millions of vets out there that have sworn oaths, millions of military personnel who have sworn oaths, contractors, politicians, so on and so forth. So it's, if you're going to swear the oath and then not follow through with it, then why are you swearing it in the first place?
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's a wonderful question. That's a question I hold to myself and to those who are governing bodies. Like, you make these oaths. Why not
Yeah.
follow them? Like, it's so simple because the literal answer's in your face. It's an open book test.
That if I could, I would sit down and ask Mike Johnson that like, why did you swear this oath if you're going to go ahead and harm Americans? I'm just,
And maybe like maybe it's prospectively a concept of what patriotism is. I don't know.
Maybe.
Like, as I think, caring for your fellow American and whatever socioeconomic level they are is one of the most patriotic things you can do.
right?
Because shit, I was ready to lay my life out for my country. Why would it make any issue of me making sure my neighbors are feeling okay and alive and healthy?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And I think that that's one of those things, like it's hard to go ahead and express to people because like I still feel that pull. If I needed to lay my life down for my country, that my people, sure. Absolutely. I swore the oath for a reason because I felt like it was the right thing to do to protect people, and if I needed to, I would. I still would.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For my neighbors, absolutely. Even I have a neighbor who's got a Trump sign out there. I would still do it for him.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely. It's
yeah.
about principle, man. It's
Yeah. Now, for any of my neighbors, if you guys see this, please don't put yourselves in harm's way. I don't.
Please don't jump in front of my car. That doesn't help the situation.
I'm not the Flash. I can't go ahead and get in front. But yeah, I don't know. And I'm glad that you and I got the chance to go ahead and sit down and talk about this, because I mean, I do think it is important for this to go ahead and get out there into the ether, into the universe, for people to hear, because I think that like more people need to be talking about this sort of stuff.
I agree.
And I know, we've got to be careful because you've got some restrictions having, your contract and that. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk to you about the oath with today, because I think the oath is really important and not a lot of people talk about the oath. I know that it's popped up now because one of our politicians is like, I don't know if I need to follow it.
Well, it was really weird, and like kind of the consideration that I think with Trump's first term oath, like conversations, at least when I was in active duty, like conversations of oath were pretty regular. Actually, when Biden was president, they were pretty regular, and for some reason, I know it's only been 100 days of this new presidency, or this new term of this presidency. Those have been kind of quiet. Like, even when with the National Guard in my shop, like it's still pretty dang quiet on those functions.
That's kind of interesting, because I do know when I was so I was stationed out in Hawaii, and we had a conversation while we were.
Were you at Schofield?
Yes, I was.
Dude, I was over at Wheeler Army Airfield.
Dude, Wheeler was so beautiful.
Oh,
I love going to Wheeler. Oh man,
Yeah, that was my first station.
nice. Mine was Camp Humphreys, Korea.
That was one of my last ones. That's awesome.
Small world, dude. Every time I talk to someone who's military, we cross paths somewhere.
Well, it's wild because you're 35 and I'm aviation, so it's like I guess there's a lot of similar crossing points in those. Like, we only have 12 bases for aviation typically.
Absolutely. I probably would have, if you and I served at the same point in time, I probably actually might have talked to your unit at some point in time, because I was constantly having to pass information off to you guys.
Probably.
Hey, watch out! You're going towards the ocean. No.
We didn't see it on the map. It's an island, dog.
But yeah, I don't. Man, reminiscing. See, this is the problem with having two military, is like you just reminisce, and I love it. I love it. Like
something always wants to bring you back in your head. I don't know what it is.
I know I was on like going down one route, but I am now on the reminiscent train. My wife and I went to Denny's when we were first dating at 4 a.m. We couldn't sleep. I don't know what was going on. Like I think that it was like one of her days off, and we didn't have a lot of time to go ahead and date. And we went to the nearest Denny's to us in New Mexico, and there were these two old gentlemen that they had like quarantined off in the Denny's because they were really loud, and they sat us next to them. Turns out that they were Vietnam vets.
Oh, nice.
And they're like, we don't know why we can't sleep, as they've got a pot of coffee in front of them, and they're just filling up their mugs, just downing cups. They're like, we don't know why we can't sleep, and we're like, us either. And it's just, if you get two military people into the same room, they're gonna find something to go ahead and talk about.
Oh yeah, especially like, oh god, and like even like because I really wanted to go like, hey, do you remember this place? Do you remember this place? Do you remember this place? Just like know that you were in Oahu.
Probably. I will tell you though, I was a barracks rat, so I didn't get out that often. But when the guys got me out,
Fair. I mean, I was just saying, at least go to like the good food places in
Oh, yeah.
Mililani, you know, like.
yeah, there was a place that they did this pastrami burger, and I really wish I knew
Teddy's.
where. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yes.
exactly. Because I got that exact same one.
hmm And there was a chicken place across the street, if I remember correctly.
I see it's on the corner in Wahiwa.
Yeah.
Maui
and they
Mike's or something.
Maui Mike's. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds about right. Yeah. The team that I worked with, that was the only thing that they would ever eat. And I'm like, there's a
Fair.
burger joint across the street. Can we get some of that too? Maybe once. Like, don't get me wrong, the chicken was fantastic, but still.
If you've gone down the other direction, you have gone to Mililani. There's Blazing Steaks. I don't know if that was around when you were around.
Dude, Blazing Steaks was awesome.
Off point, dude. Every time, just go work out at the gym. Go drive down there, get some Blazing Steaks. It was so good.
I remember there was a place that had some fantastic tonkatsu.
Oh.
Some fantastic tonkatsu, and I don't remember where it was because my buddy was the one who took me there, and I never paid attention to the name or the street that we went on because he was the one who drove and he was the one who paid. So I was like, I don't need to worry about this.
Like, I'm just here being a seat queen. Yeah.
Right? I'm just seat queen, just going ahead and watching like the trees go by and the beach and all that sort of stuff, taking in the sightseeing. Oh God, fantastic days.
Oh yeah. Oh man. I do miss Hawaii. I thought I was like, oh man, because this is my first station. So you're always first station. You're like, oh man, this is the worst place ever.
Mhm.
I mean, for being Humphreys, you actually were right on that realistically, but but like, especially in Hawaii, being my first 3 years, I thought it sucked. And I went to Kansas right after. It's like, I miss Hawaii.
I think the only really big issue that I ended up having with Hawaii was Hawaii like kind of opened my eyes to like what the government is capable and willing to do to another group of people.
Yeah. Oof. Wow. Yeah. If you talk to the natives, they.
if for anyone that listens to this, if you go to Hawaii and you're able to go ahead and make friends with the natives, they will tell you things that you have never heard before.
Yeah.
And honestly, with that statement there, do that with any group that's here in America that lived here before America was America. They are probably going to tell you some shit.
And you'll probably eat some of the best food of your life too.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Go
yeah.
to the cookouts. They're worth it, guys.
So, you're reminding me of having like Navajo tacos when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like actual Navajo tacos. Oh my god. This was, so I want you to know, this was another issue I had with Neil. As Neil and I started talking about food. Food is like the uniting factor of all of humanity, in my opinion. And I think that if you ever needed to go ahead and get two enemies to agree with each other, you put a plate of food down in between them.
It's inherent to human social structuring. Like all peace is found throughout on a table. Like, which is maybe something to be considered in the bigger pictures of everything. You know?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
these
I think
stuffy like diplomacy meetings that are like leaders have, but I don't think there's at least a single taco or a bite to eat at these tables. All I'm saying, yeah.
I think that it would help out if they did something like that. But I think that we're coming up on closing time for this. I know that this one was kind of a little fast, little loose, little goose.
I think it was effective. It was productive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we kind of go over we went over some important topics today, because I do think that some people need to be reminded, if you swore to the oath, it's kind of time to start questioning, what does that mean to you, even if you've finished your time in, like I have. And like you brought up, the soldier's creed, I'm a soldier until the day I die. And then if someone can figure out how to resurrect my body, I guess, we'll come to that when that happens.
Be careful of that one. I've seen it in sci-fi, but that's a problem.
A little bit of my nerd is popping through. I've been hankering for something that's got a good lich in it for a while now, and it's difficult to find that.
It's hard to write a good lich. It's really hard to write a good lich.
It really is. Shit. Actually, I got a book somewhere around here. I got to find it. When I find it, I'll send it to you.
Sounds
but
good.
It's a really short story. It's like 100 pages or something like that. But yeah, think about your oath if you served. If you are serving, remember it whenever things come up. If you never swore an oath, maybe it's time to start questioning what it is that your politicians are swearing. You can find it. Google, political oaths of the United States government, and you'll find it. And if you want to go ahead and make a change, come join us over at the Labor Party. VoteLabor.org. You can join the Discord. You can come meet me. You can come meet my friend over here, and we will, interact with you. We have Labor Party everywhere in the United States, all over. We're trying to go ahead and get people into political position all over the place.
We are fully national, and they're a great bunch of people.
Yeah. They saw my long hair and they're like, this guy's perfect for this. But yeah. I don't have anything else. Do you got any closing statements
well,
you got?
If anyone is in the 22nd legislative district and they come across this, vote for me in 2026. I'll be running for House of Representatives. And let's roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Let's get her done. I don't know where that. It's probably younger me kicking up from my time in the military. But yeah, with that, we are the Labor Party. Come join us, guys.